Hey there, welcome back to Redefining Her Game. I'm so glad you took the time to join me today. After last week's episode about time being our most valuable asset, I received so many messages and questions from all of you, and I loved every single one of them. Some of you said, okay, I get it, time matters, but how do I start? What do I even do with my time now? And then others are like, hey, I'm in my early 30s. I followed the plan, college, career, family, but I still want to feel more alive. What does that even look like? And honestly, those are the exact questions that inspired today's conversation. Because I think so many of us, whether we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond, are asking the same thing in different ways, right? How do I start really living? What do I do with the time I have now? Who am I outside of the roles I've been playing? And I get it, right? I'm right there with you. You reach this point in life, and maybe you've got one kid in college, one still in high school. The house is quieter than it used to be. And suddenly you have this rare thing you haven't had in years, time. And at first it feels weird, right? Like, wait, what am I supposed to do with all this? Because for so long we've been in motion, just, running, raising families, running households, managing careers, taking care of everyone else. Our days were full. And then one day you wake up and things slow down just a little bit. You take a breath, you look around, and that whisper starts to say, like, well, what about me? Who am I now? What do I want? What's next? And those questions for me are like super heavy at times. But if we change the script, they can actually be beautiful, because this isn't the end of something. It's the beginning. This is our opportunity to rediscover who we are now and who we still want to become. Time is not slipping away from us. It's opening up for us. Like, we finally get to play, to create, to connect with people again, to laugh until our cheeks hurt, to do something that's just for us. And the best part, we don't have to know exactly what we're doing. We just have to start. Because this is what redefining your game is all about. This is what it looks like. It's not about control or perfection. It's about curiosity and courage and using the time you have to build something new. So today we're talking about what it looks like to stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself, and to start now. To use this season of life as a chance to get to know yourself again, to chase something that excites you, to live like it's truly your most valuable asset. Because it is. So grab your coffee or maybe your sneakers if you're out on a walk, and let's dig in together. I was thinking the other day about how different time feels now. When we were younger, time felt like it stretched forever, right? We could waste a whole weekend and not think twice about it. And now I blink and it's already Friday again, and I'm wondering how fast it got here. But lately, instead of that feeling making me anxious, it's been kind of exciting because I've realized something. Time feels different now because we're different now. Like, for me, I'm not in the chaos of the little kids or the hustle of trying to prove ourselves at work. Like, I've already done that. Like, hard stuff. So many of the hard things. We've built the life, we've raised the kids, we've checked the boxes, and now it's like we've been handed this beautiful open space. Not a void, but a space. A space that asks, okay, what do you want to do next? And that question used to scare the hell out of me because I thought it meant I had to find something big, something profound or career changing. But I don't think that's what it's about. I think this is our time to choose how we want to live and who we want to become next. We're not just chasing what we missed. We're not trying to redo anything. We're just living more intentionally this time. For so long, our time wasn't really our own, right? It belonged to the people we loved. And that's a really good thing. Those years of building, growing, parenting, showing up, they mattered. They still do. But now we get to take some of that time back. And that's not selfish. I see it as necessary. Maybe this next chapter isn't about doing more. Maybe it's about doing what feels right. The things that make you laugh, the people who bring you peace, the moments that remind you that life is still happening right here, right now. So I've started looking at time differently, not as something to manage or maximize, but something to really enjoy. Like I picture it like a blank canvas every morning, right? Clean, open, full of possibility, and I get to decide what to paint on it that day. Sometimes it's a calm, quiet day at home. Sometimes it's colorful and busy and full of plants. But either way, I get to hold the brush. And that feels like freedom to me. Like we've earned the right to be more intentional, to build a life that fits who we are now, not who we were 20 years ago. And that doesn't mean throwing everything away or reinventing yourself overnight. It might mean just making little choices that feel good, saying yes to things that make you curious or no to things that drain you. It might look like reconnecting with an old friend or spending more time doing things that light you up or trying something new just because it sounds fun. I think this is our season to play again, to remember what it feels like to choose something because it brings us joy, not because it checks a box. So when I think about time now, I don't see it as something slipping away. I see it as something unfolding, something we get to shape. We don't have to rush it or control it. We just have to live it. Because this isn't just about what we've already done or what we think we've missed. It's about what we get to do next. And that honestly feels like such a gift. You know what I keep hearing from so many women lately? This little phrase that sneaks into conversations. I think it's too late for me, right? And I look and I'm like, too late for what though? Like, too late to start over? Too late to try something new? Too late to find joy again? No, absolutely not. We've been conditioned to think that life runs on some big timeline that everyone's supposed to follow. Screw that timeline. Like, we're all climbing the same ladder, and once you miss a step, that's it. I mean, but that's not how life works. Life's not a ladder. It's more like a hiking trail, right? There are turns and switchbacks and those moments where you stop, look around and think, wow, I didn't even know this view was here. That's what this part of life feels like. Discovering new views. So if you're in your 40s or 50s and you've already proven you can do hard things, you've built, you've led, raised, and carried, you've given so much of yourself to others now, finally you get to ask, what about me? And the answer isn't, it's too late. Come on, it's just starting. Think about it. You now have experience, perspective, maybe a little more patience, and definitely better boundaries. You're not guessing who you are anymore. You know yourself. And that makes you unstoppable when you decide to begin something new. So maybe this is the time to finally start the thing that's been tugging at you. Like the bakery you dream about, the side business, the book, the podcast, or maybe just saying yes to something you've always wanted to learn. Dance lessons, painting, yoga, pottery. You don't have to know where it'll lead. You just have to be brave enough to take the first step. And let's hold on. Let's talk about the fear part of for a second, right? Because we all feel it. You know, that voice that says, what if it doesn't work? What will people think? I mean, it creeps into my head every day. But what if we asked a different question? What if it does work? What if you love it? What if you meet new people, laugh more, feel more alive than you have in years? Because that's what happens when we try new things. We wake something up inside us. And honestly, who freaking cares if it looks messy? We're not here to win it perfect. We're here to live. So I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself 20, 30, 40 years from now, sitting outside, summer evening, a little breeze, maybe a glass of wine, maybe kids, grandkids running around, and you're looking back at the season of your life. What stories do you want to tell? Do you want to say, I wish I had? Or do you want to say, I'm so glad I tried? That's what this moment's about. Not regret, not rushing, just choosing to live while the chance is right in front of us. This applies to younger women listening too. Your 20s and 30s are not just preparation for real life. This is real life. You don't have to wait for a perfect plan to unfold before you start living. So what stories do you want to tell? Do you want to say, I wish I had? Or do you want to say, I'm so glad I tried? That's what this moment's about. Not regret, not rushing, just choosing to live while the chance is right in front of us. And this applies to the younger women listening too. Your 20s and 30s are not just preparation for real life. Like, this is real life. You don't have to wait for a perfect plan to unfold before you start living. Start the project, take the trip, build the friendships. Laugh so loud. Because time isn't about hitting milestones. It's really about collecting the moments. Moments that make you say, yes, this. This is what being alive feels like. So no, it's not too late. It's right on time. This is the moment we stop watching everyone else live boldly and start doing it ourselves. Let's stop saying one day and start saying today. We can learn, we can grow, we can build something new. We're not behind. We're exactly where we're supposed to be, standing at the start of what comes next. And it's ours to create. So grab that metaphorical paintbrush, the notebook, the running shoes, the microphone, whatever your thing is, and just start. Because the myth of too late, yeah, that's not true. Never was. Okay, so let's talk about this whole idea of starting. Because I know some of you are sitting there thinking, okay, I want to do something new, but I have no idea where to begin. Or maybe, what if I start and I'm terrible at it? Or the classic, what if people think I've lost my mind? Because that one tends to creep in more than anything else. Starting something new at any age feels weird. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable. It's like walking to a gym class for the first time or trying to learn TikTok when your kids already think you don't know how to work your own phone, right? But that's the point. It's new. It's supposed to feel a little uncomfortable. And honestly, we've done way harder things than this. We've raised kids, we've managed careers, households, relationships, laundry. Come on. We can definitely handle learning something new. When I first started this podcast, I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to record, how to edit, what buttons to press, none of it. I literally sat on my back porch right here with a microphone, hoping the sound didn't come through, right? Of lawnmowers and kids screaming in the background. And you know what? It wasn't perfect, not even close, but it was real and it was mine. And little by little, like, I'm still figuring it out. And here's the part that nobody talks about. That messy beginning, that's where all the magic happens, because that's where you start to laugh at yourself, right? That's where you meet people who are figuring it out too. That's where you realize the fear you felt wasn't a stop sign. It was just like a starting bell. We wait for perfect timing, like it's going to knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm perfection. Everything's ready now." You know, that day never comes. The real moment to start is when you feel that nudge, that pull that keeps whispering, "You can do this." So if you're waiting until you're confident, spoiler alert, confidence doesn't show up first. Doesn't. Confidence is built after you start. Like, we don't get to be brave and then begin. We begin, and then that makes us brave to do it again. I don't mean start big. Just start small. Start with one marble, right? One tiny piece of time. And if there's something that you've been wanting to do, start giving it 10 minutes a day. Write a paragraph. Watch a tutorial. Go for a walk and brainstorm ideas. Send that email you've been putting off. Call someone who inspires you and say, "Hey, I've been thinking about doing this. What do you think?" Momentum starts small. And it's okay if it feels clumsy at first, right? Everything does. Nobody's an expert at the beginning. None of us. So when you see someone doing something amazing, just remember you're looking at their chapter 10. You can't compare that to your chapter 1. Here's the thing. Life gets a lot more fun when you stop trying to be good at everything and just start enjoying the process. Be willing to laugh at yourself. Be willing to look a little ridiculous. Be willing to show up anyway. Because even if you don't know what you're doing, guess what? You're living for the first time. I mean, every single one of us is. None of us has done this life, this version, this chapter before. We're all figuring out as we go. And if it helps, think of starting like this. Just be collecting marbles. Every time you try something new, you're adding a marble to the experience jar. Every time you fail, you're adding a marble to the courage jar. Every time you laugh through it, that's another marble in the joy jar. Eventually, those jars fill up, and you'll look back and realize you built a life full of moments that mattered just because you were brave enough to start. So maybe this week that's your challenge. Don't wait for permission. Don't overthink. Just start. Take the first step toward whatever's been calling your name, even if you have no idea where it'll go. Because honestly, that's the best part. You don't have to know where it's leading. You just have to enjoy getting there. We're not here to chase what we missed. We're here to create what's next. And it all starts with one small, imperfect, beautiful beginning. Now, I want to talk for a minute to the younger women who might be listening, the ones in their 20s, early 30s, who are just getting started in life. Because after the last episode, I heard from a few of you. You said things like, "I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. College, job, maybe starting a family, but I still don't feel alive." And I'll just say, I get it. Because somewhere along the line, we were handed this invisible checklist, right? Go to school, get the degree, start the career, get married, buy the house, and all that is wonderful, truly. But no one really tells you what to do once you start checking those boxes and still feel like something's missing. So if you're listening and you're in that season, here's what I want to tell you. You're not doing life wrong. You're just realizing there's more to it. There's more to life than the plan, more to success than stability, more to fulfillment than following a timeline. And that's a really beautiful realization because it means you're waking up to the truth that your life is yours to create. Try things. Seriously. Try freaking everything. Take the job that scares you. Book the trip you've been talking yourself out of. Go after that dream. Even if you're not sure how it'll work out, laugh too loud, dance at weddings, take a class for fun. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just really have to stay curious. Because what I wish someone had told me at 25 is this: your 20s and 30s are not a race to get somewhere. They're the playground still. They're the experiment years. And the most successful people I know, they don't climb one ladder straight to the top. Tried, they pivoted, they failed, they got back up, and somewhere in there they found the rhythm. And I would also say stay connected, because I know the world moves fast. We're all busy juggling work, relationships, responsibilities, and the noise of 1,000 notifications, right? But don't let connection fall through the cracks, because that's one thing no one warned you about. Connection doesn't just happen. You have to keep choosing it. Call your people. Check in with your mom. Meet your friends for coffee even when you're tired. Say yes to that dinner invite even if you'd rather wear sweatpants. And maybe just wear the sweatpants and go anyways. Connection is what keeps life rich. It's what gives meaning to all the other things you're building. And if you can build connection while you're young, you'll carry it through every season. And now, to the women who are in the thick of this midlife chapter, this message is for us too. Because staying connected doesn't stop when our kids move out or our careers settle. This is our time to reconnect with each other, with new friends, with ourselves. And you know what I've realized? We get so used to being the ones who take care of everything that we forget to ask our community to help us. But connection is the antidote to burnout, right? Loneliness and that feeling of what now? Call that old friend you've been thinking about. Send that text that says, hey, I miss you. Start saying yes to girls' nights again. And if you don't have your people yet in this season, go find them. They're out there waiting for someone like you to show up. And here's something for every woman listening, no matter your age. Life doesn't have to follow a straight line. You can start over at any time. You can change your mind. You can fall in love again with people, with places, with yourself. You can live differently than you thought you would. And it can be even better. Because here's the thing, none of us actually knows what we're doing. We're all just living for the first time. And that's kind of freeing, isn't it? It means there's no timeline you're behind on, no finish line you've missed, no rule book that you broke. You're just learning, growing, becoming. So to that younger generation, please don't wait for permission to live. And to all of us in the middle of this wild, beautiful, unpredictable chapter, don't forget we still get to live too. Life isn't something that happens once you figure it all out. It's happening right now. And if you're brave enough just to keep showing up, even when you don't know what you're doing, I promise you'll look back one day and realize you've built a life that feels like you, full of people you love, moments that made you laugh, and time that was spent beautifully, even when it was messy. You know, I think one of the most beautiful things about this stage of life is realizing now is enough. Not when everything's figured it out. Not when everything's figured out. Not when the timing's perfect. Not when you've got all the answers. Right now. Because this moment we're in, this is life. And I think for a long time, we're so focused on what was next that we forgot to notice what was already here. We were rushing to get the kids to the next thing, to finish the next project, to reach the next goal. And suddenly we look up and realize this is it. But here's the thing, the realization isn't sad, it's freeing. Because once you understand that now is what you have, you start living differently. You start saying yes to the things that bring you joy and peace. You start saying no to the things that drain you. You start laughing more, worrying less in your own life. There's this kind of quiet confidence that comes when you realize you don't have to chase anything anymore. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to fit anyone else's idea of what your life should look like. You get to just live. And that's what I mean when I say the freedom is now. Freedom to choose what matters, freedom to change your mind, freedom to slow down, freedom to be playful again. Because we spent so many years taking care of everyone else, and that mattered. But now we get to take care of our own joy too. We get to wake up and decide, what do I want this day to feel like? Not what does it need to look like for everyone else, but what do I want it to feel like? I think that's what makes this season so special. We finally realized that time isn't something chasing us, it's something inviting us. Inviting us to create, to connect, to rest, to live a little lighter. And maybe it's not about filling every minute with activity. Maybe it's about creating moments that matter. Those tiny, ordinary pieces of joy that make life feel big. Like sitting on the porch with your coffee before the day starts. Taking a walk with a friend and laughing about absolutely nothing. Hearing from your kids and realizing they're going to be okay. Or standing in the kitchen, music playing, dancing for no reason at all. That's the freedom of now. Choosing to be present in the small, beautiful stuff. And maybe this is where it all connects. Time, choice, connection, and joy. Because when we start to slow down, when we stop waiting for the right moment, we begin to see that life is happening in real time right in front of us. This is your time. Not later, not someday, now. You don't need to overhaul your life to make it meaningful. You just need to start noticing it again. The sound of laughter in your house, the text from a friend that makes you smile, that feeling when the sun hits your face just right before, and for a second you think, okay, I'm good. Those moments are everything. They're proof that you're living a full, beautiful, ordinary, extraordinary life. So here's what I want you to remember. You have permission to live right now. Not when things calm down, not when the house is perfectly organized or your career is on track, but right now. Because this moment, this season, this exact version of you is worth being present for. You've earned the right to slow down and enjoy it. You've earned the right to start something new just because it excites you. You've earned the right to laugh, to rest, to explore, to connect, to feel completely alive. And if you're sitting here thinking, I don't even know what I want yet, that's okay too. Because maybe this is the part where you get to be curious, where you start noticing what feels good, where you give yourself permission to not know, but to still show up anyway. Because this isn't about perfection, right? It's about being present. It's about saying, I'm here and I'm living. So wherever you are right now, driving to work, folding laundry, walking your dog, sitting in silence, I hope you take one deep breath and let this sink in. You're not too late. You're not behind. You're not too old, too busy, or too far gone. You are right on time. This is your chapter. And your story is still being written. One day, one choice, one beautiful moment at a time. And as we wrap up today's episode, I just want to say, I'm really glad you're here. I mean that. Whether you've been with me since the beginning of Redefining Her Game or you just found this podcast recently, thank you for spending part of your day, part of your time right here with me. It means more than you know. We've spent the last couple episodes talking about time, how it's our most valuable asset, how we can start using it differently, how it's never too late to begin again. And if there's one thing I hope you take from this today, it's this. Time isn't something we're losing. It's something we get to live. You don't have to have a perfect plan. You don't have to wait until everything makes sense. You don't have to chase what you think you've missed. You just have to choose what comes next. Because the moment you decide to use your time for what matters, to laugh, to connect, to create, to start something new, that's the moment life starts feeling full again. And if you're in your 40s or 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're asking yourself, well, what now? This is your sign that now is the answer. This is your time to rediscover, to rebuild, to relax, to play. And if you're younger, in your 20s or 30s, my hope for you is that you don't wait to start living. You don't wait for perfect timing or approval or a clear plan. Just start. Because the moments you create now will become the stories you tell later. We all get to build a life that feels meaningful. Not because we did everything right, but because we showed up and lived it. So maybe this week, you do one small thing for you. Something that brings you joy or peace or laughter. Something that reminds you that you're alive and in control of your own time. Maybe it's starting that idea you've been sitting on. Maybe it's texting a friend you've lost touch with. Maybe it's just taking 5 quiet minutes to breathe and think about what you want next. Whatever it is, start. Because you deserve a life that feels like yours again. But before I go, I want to thank you again for tuning in, sharing these moments with me, and being a part of this little community we're building together. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd like for you to share it with someone who might need that reminder that they're not behind. They're right on time. And if you haven't yet, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps more women find this space, and honestly, it means the world to me. Remember, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Redefining Her Game. Come tell me what you're starting this week, or what part of this conversation stuck with you most. I'd love to hear it. All right, that's it for today. Take a deep breath, look around, and remember, this moment right here is yours. You don't have to wait for someday. You don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing. And that's how you redefine your game.